Hey guys, today I want to talk a bit about the class balancing update attempt. Also, I want to touch on how Deca has been going with the anti-hacking changes. And also I want to announce the winners of my intro contest. So this is just a bit of my insight on the proposed changes. So basically the class balancing in Realm is really tricky, because some classes are really strong in a group setting while they're a lot different in a solo setting. And to be honest, I feel like this class balance attempt makes a lot of bad classes even worse, and it actually makes a massive problem in the game even worse, which is the steam running of dungeons. I also want to give some recommendations on how Deca can balance classes better and fight the problem of steamrolling from my experience in the game. So firstly, as you can see, Deca wants to change berserking and damaging to 1.2 instead of 1.5 times. This could be a nice change in combating the steamrolling of dungeons. However, I don't feel like Warrior and Paladin are that overpowered of a solo class to deserve such a change. I think Deca should really look closely at the solo setting and small group setting of some classes, because without damaging and berserk in small groups, it can actually make some late game dungeons impossible if they keep the current setting of the game. Also, berserk and damaging made some crappier classes a lot better. Like Mystic and Necromancer without the damaging and berserk are actually so much worse off, but I'll get into that in a moment. This is actually my opinion on the tier list of the game right now, the different power levels between classes. Now this tier list is strictly based on how fast I think some classes get loot, so pots and whites. And basically the higher on the list, the faster they can get it. I will probably make a video in the future. Now this is an outdated tier list because it was made before the Fungal Cave-in came out, but I'll probably release a video on it in the future anyway. Now, for the berserking and damaging, a recommendation I would give instead of decreasing the amount, it actually increases damage, is I would actually recommend for the seals and the helms to have a decreased radius, because not only does this incentivize cooperation in a group, it also makes sure that Warrior and Paladin don't get a massive power decrease in small groups, which they need. So like for example, instead of a 4-tile radius, they could make it a 2-tile radius. And I know Paladin has a really really high radius, so this can also be decreased to a similar amount. So right now it's, where is it? Oh, it actually depends on Wiz, but that could be decreased to a 2 or 3 as well. Also similarly, Deca wants to decrease armored from 2 times defense to 1.5 defense. Now, it's obvious that they're doing this in relation to Marble Seal, because items like the Jug aren't actually, in my opinion, that strong, and it would just make it a lot worse. So similarly, I would recommend Deca to decrease this to a smaller radius. So like right now, the Marble Seal is, let me have a look. Right now the range is 4 tiles, but I would recommend they drop it down to like 2 tiles or something. Now they want to change the defense reduction cap to 90%. I think this is really not a great idea, because one of the main overpowered aspects of the melee classes is they have they're really tanky. So basically, if you do this, it actually makes them even more tanky, which is one of the problems. I would actually keep the defense cap at the current level, if I were you. Now something else to keep in mind about Paladin, not only is it getting a damaging nerf, but it's also not getting any instant HP. So if you look at the tier list, I have Paladin here because it's not that fast of a class. Basically, in this game, the faster classes have a much better chance of getting loot faster. And Paladin is here because it's slow, and while it does do high damage and is good at rushing, it does fall short compared to other classes in the rate that it does gain items. but now after the damaging nerf, which is going to reduce its damage, and the instant heal, it's probably going to go down to a C, to be honest, a low C. If Deca does do the range nerf, then this would actually keep Paladin's strength in small groups, but just require a bit more cooperation, which is what this game really needs. Now, some classes that used to be a lot worse are actually going to become a lot more worse. Like for example, for Mystic, they're getting rid of Mystic's Berserk. So I want to show you guys a bit of how much Mystic is going to get impacted. Because with Mystic right now, you can actually do a permanent. With Mystic, you can actually do a permanent Berserk buff. So let me show you at how much this will decrease the damage. So here we have Mystic with Beserk, for example, and now take Beserk off. So instead of the Beserk, they want to give 10 dexterity permanently. Oh, not permanently, sorry. Instead of the Beserk, they're going to give 10 dexterity. So look at that. That is a massive difference, and is going to make it a lot more worse off. So as you can see, the orange one is the one with the Berserk, while the pink one is the one with just the 10 dex increase. Also, I want to show you guys something really cool. Basically, if you're really good at Mystic and you have like a really highly developed one with a conflict, something really cool you can do is you can actually do both the Berserk and damaging. And this is really hard to pull off, but if you do it successfully, you get a massive damage boost. So this is what it looks like right now if you're able to do it. But if they were to take away the Berserk, it would decrease to this level. Let me show you. So it was around the 5,000 amount, but now it's down to here, so that's a massive decrease. So basically, I have Mystic high on the tier list because my tier list assumes that you're really high skill and you have all of the items. So it assumes that you can do that double buff constantly. But if the changes go through, it would actually drop Mystic to around the C level as well, the low C tier. Now next, they want to buff some of the stats for Paladin to compensate for the damaging nerf and the instant HP nerf. However, I don't think this will be very effective. Let me show you at how much of a change it would actually bring. So, let me add a Paladin to the mix. Let me just add this. So this is what it would be with damaging, right? And Paladin can really easily hold permanent damaging. But let me show you what it would be like if Paladin loses the damaging. So I'll make this yellow, and let me just add the relevant stats. So look at this, it'll be, they want to add, let me have a look. They want to add 5 attack and 10 dex. 5 attack, 10 dex. Look at that insane difference. So Paladin will get at least about a 20% damage decrease. And also the vid compensation is nothing in relation to the HP that Paladin gets from healing with the spacebar. Also, Necro is just going to get shit on. Like, let me show you how Necro goes now with the damaging. Necro is actually not too bad damage-wise, it's just really slow. Like, the reason why I have it at the bottom of the tier list is because the damage doesn't make up for how slow it actually is. So like really simply, they're just taking away damaging. I don't think they're giving it a damage boost. No, they're not. Oh, and I made a bit of a mistake. Mystic is actually getting a slight attack and dex boost as well, passively. But it actually won't make that much of a difference, to be honest. So let me show you at how much Necro is going to get shit on. Copy the graph, take away damaging, boom. That is a massive decrease. That's more than 20%. Wait, let me do the math. That's like... That's actually over 30% as well. Jeez. So let me show you. So right now it's at the bottom of the tier list for me. This was before the new assassin poison came in, which actually increases it a lot in my opinion. But now necro is going to be the worst by a long shot. The in combat status can be good. Basically what it is, it's higher regen for when you're not in battle. So if you're away from enemies, then it would actually be great to get a higher health boost. It would cut down a lot of downtime. However, if you would get a health boost from not getting damaged, there's a lot of fights where they're really long-winded, and it would make it way too much easier if you just gain health from when you're not damaged, like for example in Void. So I wouldn't do this for even if someone's close to enemies. But it would be great to have if like someone's safe from battle. Like for example, back in the day you can pause in any dungeon. Basically, if it's in a scenario where you're safe enough to use that pause feature in the past, I think that would be a great time to have the healing. And also the vile message in chat is going to be great. Now, something else that I should bring up, one of the developers said that they're going to decrease the HP scaling from 20% to 15%. I think this is a really horrible idea because there's such a problem with steamrolling in this game already. And basically the main reason why steamrolling is happening is for each player, for example, with the NBC, that enemy has 250,000 health. So as you can imagine, for a solo player, 250,000, that's really hard to kill in relation to having one extra player, because that would add 50% since there's a 20% health scaling right now. I think Deca should prioritize small groups and solo play a lot more, because what this change will do is it will make a large group steamroll even harder, since each additional player adds a smaller health amount than before. I actually think it would be an amazing change if Deca increased the health scaling to 40 to 50%, because this way leeches can't leech without doing too much. Each person will be closely looked at in a group setting, and it would actually make it a lot easier for smaller groups to run dungeons in like relatively to large groups. Technically, if you did increase the health scaling to 40 or 50%, it would make it harder for small groups than what it is now. But relative to larger groups, the increase in difficulty would be a lot smaller, so it would narrow the gap between the difficulty between small groups and large groups running dungeons. So basically, ultimately, I recommend Deca to not do a lot of the changes they've proposed. Basically, what I recommend is for Berserk, Damaging and Armored to be nerfed only in the radius that only in its radius. This way increases cooperation in groups, while not making the classes a lot worse, which I don't think they deserve. Also, I strongly recommend increasing the health scaling amount to 40 or 50%, because this way the steamrolling in the game will die down a lot. As you can imagine, technically, for solo and small group play to be fair, relative to large groups, the health scaling should be over 100%, because large groups can stack buffs so people can constantly have it, but 40 to 50% would be a good enough change in my opinion. Now I just want to touch on how well Deca did in relation to combating cheaters. So basically Deca wrote this massive section in the latest Deca producer letter on cheating. And just to summarize what they did really well, they proposed that the first ban is going to be a lot more brutal. They also proposed that real world trading and duping will have a no tolerance policy and old cases will be reviewed, which is really awesome. They also changed the system so that a lot of people weren't getting banned because they were doing a lot of different bad things, and the old policy actually required for them to do 3 of the same bad thing to get banned, but now it's 3 strikes from any different TOS strike. Also, permabans are supposedly getting increased to be a lot longer, and they explained to us why they didn't permaban some of the people they should. So if all of these propositions go through, that will be a really great change. We just gotta make sure Deca sticks to it. Alright guys, now I want to go over my intro contest. Basically, I made a contest for whoever made the best intro would get 20 Decas. However, for me it was really hard choosing, so I actually am going to split the prize between 3 people because they were so amazing. So I'll show you guys who the winners are. So basically, I forgot what this guy's name is. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, it's Torek. Let me show you how awesome this is. Alright, so that's the first winner. Let me show you the second one. This one's made by Lol Lion. And this is the third one. How am I supposed to choose between those 3? They're all so good. It's actually so hard. So basically those are going to be the 3 winners. They're going to get 7 Decas each. Now there's 3 other really awesome intros I should show you. These are some other ones. So I think this guy just didn't make it. I do like it a lot, but this one was made by JJ Aim. It was really awesome, but the other 3 were just so insane. I'll show you guys this one. That one is really awesome, to be honest. Let me show you guys another 2. Now these are mostly meme ones. This one was made by Okay. How beautiful. And I need to show you guys this other one made by Lol Lion, another meme one. Let me show you where it is. Cool. That was amazing. 10 out of 10. Well guys, thank you so much for listening to my spiel. I hope that this does have an effect on the balance changes in the future. And if I can help at all in the future, just contact me. Have a great day.